Hi, welcome to Tea Time. That's Thuy and I'm Edith.
We like to argue.
A little bit.
Tea Time stands for Thuy and Edith Argue.
That's what it stands for. And here comes the arguing.
Edith, what are we going to talk about today, though?
Let's talk about our lovers. Right?
Well, I thought that this was an interesting topic for me, but I didn't know how interested other people would be.
Probably if it's about you, not very interested.
It's not about me. It's interesting to me.
Oh, okay. What's interesting to you?
I think the whole culture of kind of like interracial dating, interracial marriage, it's interesting because I partake in that.
As do I. As do I.
But this would be an episode that you can't really do in the beginning because people should get to know us a little bit, our personalities and who we are, that type of thing.
Yeah, I suppose so. But I mean,
so if this is your first time ever tuning in, I feel like you should go back and watch all of the previous tea times.
And then come back and join us again.
Yes.
So we'll see you guys momentarily.
Yes. They get to know about our personalities a little bit better, you know?
Okay, yeah.
So
makes sense.
And all the little jokes that we do about our significant others.
Yeah, which they don't always find humorous. I can tell you that.
Did you know? See? Here's me starting into it.
Did I know?
This is something that I looked up. It's just a U.S. statistic. I didn't look about global because I think global it will be a lot different. But in the U.S. in 1967, so 40, holy cow,
67?
Wow, 60, almost 60 years ago, that only 3% in the U.S. Only 3% of married couples were interracial. What number?
3%?
Yes. In 1967. What percentage do you think it is now? Actually, this isn't now. This is only 2015. What percent do you think it jumped or lowered to for interracial marriages?
I think it's gone up. What did you say? 3% in 67? I would say it's well over 20% now. Well over.
Okay, that's a good guess. In 2015, it was 10%.
Oh, really?
It might be more now because now it's 2025.
Right.
So
that was
10 years
10
ago.
years ago.
Right. So
let's
yeah,
see
it's
what that is.
And it's marriages because that's one way that they can track that, right? Because of contracts and whatnot.
Well, there are interracial dating apps.
Okay. Is that where you found Tony?
It is not. Tony was stalking me at the baseball field. He was stalking me there.
He was not stalking you.
He was stalking me. He stalked me.
He saw you and then he said,
He said, "Do you want to go out for a drink?" And I said, "No, I'm working." He goes, "What about after work?" I said, "No, I'm working." He said, "Where are you working?" And I told him, "Here." And the night that I was working, that Sunday evening, it was burlesque. And like being a dude, I'm like, "You want to come and see some TNA?" He's like, "Not really." I'm like, "What? You don't?" He goes, "But I will." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And he came down, he sat in bar. He came into the show for maybe 10 minutes and then went back out to bar and watched TV.
That's a weird ask
Dude.
for a first date. No,
What?
you.
What?
You're asking him to go see a burlesque show.
No. He asked me out on a date and I told him I was working the burlesque show. But if you want to come.
Well, right. You invited him to come.
Right.
He wasn't just going to show up. So that's a weird.
What do you mean he wasn't just going to show up?
Because you said I'm working. Who's going to just show up just because you're working? He might say, well, let me meet you after you're done working. But you told him to come.
I said, you can come and see the show. We had comps.
Yeah, that's
We
weird.
had comps that night. It's
I know,
not weird.
That you're inviting him to see like other women taking off their clothes.
Yeah, then I can see what he's like. What he's really like. If he's sat at a table, you know, like touching himself and stuff while he's watching show, then I could have said good night. Thank you for coming. Don't call again.
But instead, you said he went out to the bar and watched
TV?
So that's why you were like, okay, he's fine.
No, that's not why. Because he's a millionaire, that's why. No, he's not a millionaire. He's not a millionaire.
So why do you date, you know, is
Tony?
there, or is there just like a reason, or it's not really necessarily a reason? It's just you're attracted to whoever you're attracted to.
You're attracted to whoever you're attracted to. And it just so happens to be white men.
Do you ever get looks? Do you ever get people asking you questions, or?
You know, okay, so nobody ever asks questions.
Even
Nobody
your own
ever-
friends, like me.
Well, you ask so many questions about everything all the time. You're like that little child that wants to know the answer to absolutely everything that goes past their eyes.
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah.
What color is it? How much is it? Where do you get it from? Where can I get one?
Okay.
You
so,
ask a lot of questions.
so no one really asks you questions?
Nobody
what about strangers?
really asks. Strangers don't ask questions.
Do
They might
make-
look.
Do they make inappropriate comments?
You know, I've never heard it because otherwise I'd probably be in jail. I've never heard anything.
Really?
Because I would mouth off at somebody who said something to me, you know that. And I would get lippy. Because black people have big lips. So I would get really lippy with anybody who says
Really?
anything.
You really would?
Yeah.
You'd have, like, a stranger would make a comment and
If
you'd
a
be
stranger makes a comment to me, yes, I'm going to say something to that stranger.
like, okay.
And that stranger will know not to mess with people they don't know.
Okay.
Unless they had a death wish. Like, I can't remember his name, so that fell short. But yeah, I would, you know me, Thuy. I'm going to say something.
So I was also looking up not just like US, but I was curious as we were talking right now as to the ratio of interracial marriages. You can't really track dating, right? Because dating, you know,
like,
but with
yeah.
marriage, then there's a contract, so you can actually kind of measure that.
Okay.
But the country with the highest visible mixed unions is what they called it.
Uh-huh.
What would you guess? It's not
What
what I thought.
The most visible mixed unions. I am going to say...
I really, really did not expect this.
All right, I'm just going to take a leap and say... I want to say something like some European country like Latvia or Sweden or something like that. But,
Right?
But it's probably going to be, and it's not going to be Italy. And it's not going to be Spain. And it's not going to be France. I'm going to say Africa.
No. But wow, that's
It's a good guess.
no,
It's
that's
a horrible
weird.
guess.
That's a weird guess. 70-something% is actually Japanese.
Really? I
Japan.
was going to say Japan.
Why?
I don't know why. I was just going to say Japan.
But that means obviously, like, if a Japanese person marries a Korean, that's interracial. If a Japanese person marries a Chinese person, that's interracial, you know?
Yeah, but you said more visible.
Well, it says, like, certainly visible minority groups had higher rates of being in mixed unions. So I don't know what they mean by that.
Well, black and white.
Wow.
Or Asian and white. No,
Yeah.
because I mean that's visible.
Sure.
But like you're saying, if it's like a Japanese person and a Chinese person, that's not as visible.
I guess you're racist. That means you're saying that all Asians look alike. Because
They do.
I can tell a lot of Asian people apart. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult, but in general, we can tell because of certain features and things.
Right. Yeah.
You heard it here, folks.
Yeah.
You heard
did.
it.
You did.
Edith is racist.
I get it from my mum.
Wow.
I get it from Mumsy.
It says one of the lowest is actually South Africa.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they don't really
They don't
maybe
like white people. I mean,
what?
did I say that out loud?
Most South Africans are white people.
Yeah, I know.
So why did you just
they
say
don't
that?
like black people.
Oh my goodness. We're going to have to edit a lot of this out. If I had to guess with interracial like relationships or marriages, I might have said something like England, like a hodgepodge of a lot of different countries and cultures.
England?
Yeah.
Not America? You don't
No,
think America's got
I
more
think-
hodgepodge people?
I think America might be like more with like dating, but not when it comes to actually like marriage, making that commitment and then settling. I think with dating, Americans can kind of like experiment and test the waters with many different like cultures and ethnicities. But I think when it comes to actually like tying the knot, they might not. They might be very hesitant to do so. I don't know. That's just my own theory. Yeah. I'm talking about like actual like marriage.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in general, this episode is about just being in a relationship, but I'm saying specifically right now, when it comes to marriage, I think that maybe not the U.S. They're still behind the times when it comes to that. They're still very conservative. Not that there's anything wrong with either way or nothing is right or wrong. I'm just saying that that's just how it is. I've dated Vietnamese guys.
Have you?
Yeah. And it was fine. It was just, whatever. And then when I happened to find this particular guy who I ended up marrying, then, that's great. It's not just that I didn't like dating Vietnamese or being with like a Vietnamese guy. There's a lot of obviously advantages, but yeah, Daniel's my honey bunny.
Have you ever dated a black man?
I have not.
Really?
You knew this about me.
I did. I just wanted everyone else to know this about her.
To try to paint the picture as if I'm racist.
She is.
I'm not racist because I date out of my race.
You're racist against a certain race. That's all. Just against a certain race.
I'm not, just like how you might not be attracted to certain people, I'm not attracted to certain people. Have you ever dated a black guy?
No.
See?
No.
This isn't a podcast against black guys.
But I've been told so many times that we all look alike. I didn't know if it were my brother or not, so I didn't date. Yeah.
I do a joke like that. I've done that on stage before, or I said I'm really afraid to date Asian guys because they end up being like my cousin or something.
Yeah.
Daniel doesn't actually really date interracially. Like he has, but not like a lot, right? Mm-hmm. So I would joke with him saying, well, why did you, like go after me? Why did you pursue me? And he's the type of person where like if there's like 5 cars and 4 of them kind of sort of look alike, he will like the one that's a little bbit unusual and different. He's always been like that, right?
So
and
he
went
for the weirdo.
So he said like, oh, you look all, he's like, I think you're beautiful. But then he's like, I think you're very exotic looking and different. And I go, what? I'm like, there's 40 billion Asians in the world. I'm not exotic. If you were to date an exotic person, you date like, like a freaking, like a black girl or something. Uh-huh. But no, so that's a funny joke, but I'm not exotic looking at all, right? But then he'll say, yeah, but out of like all the Asians, he goes, but you do look different. Like I'm not like the stereotypical petite, small, tiny. I'm kind of like a giant, and I'm bigger than a lot of them.
I'm glad you said that because now I don't feel so bad when I say you're a giant Asian.
When do you say that?
All the time.
To who?
Everybody. I say, have you seen Thuy? She's the giant Asian.
Wow, I didn't know that you called me that. Nice.
Well, I think I have said before that you are kind of weird because you're so big for an Asian. I've never seen an Asian so big.
I drink milk.
Like,
I listened to Mr. T. And when I was little, I drank my milk
You
and ate my
did?
vegetables.
okay. All right.
You've never seen an Asian so big. Is that what you've said?
Except for the sumo wrestlers, obviously. I've seen big sumo wrestlers.
And Yao Ming.
Yeah. He's tall, though. He's tall.
Yeah, he's a giant.
He's a giant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, they were showing the, like, the army. Is he Korean?
I think he's Chinese.
Chinese? Well, they were showing the army, and everybody is on this level here, and then it comes to him, and he's like, I mean, you could, obviously you can spot him in a crowd.
Yeah.
He's massive.
Let me see here. Yao Ming. He is 7'6".
That's ridiculous.
An anomaly.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened.
7'6". What size shoe is he? Like
If-
15, 21?
If they took his genes and just dispersed it across the whole nation of China,
Everybody would be average height.
right?
Right?
It would bring up the average height. You know, I haven't had very people don't say like mean things, like comments like that. There's like you said, sometimes there's like certain situations or sometimes like looks, but they don't really say mean things. Not at least in my experience,
Like
right?
what you doing with her. Stuff like that.
Maybe. Why would
Right.
it be like, what with her? Why wouldn't it be like, what are you doing with him?
Well, that would be from your peeps. But
My
in
peeps.
America, Daniel's peeps would be like, weirdo.
Right.
What you doing,
Right.
white man? Stick to your own. You know?
Right? Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
That might be what he would face. Sometimes they might think like, oh, like who's your wife? Because he loves it. He loves referring to me as his wife. So he'd be like, oh yeah, like my wife and I, like da da da, whatever, right? And then next thing you know, in the front yard, like say I'm out there like getting some Spanish moss off the trees and just doing some yard work, and he's like, wait a minute, is she the gardener? Or is she like his wife?
Is
that
she
he's
a
talking
servant?
about? Yeah, like
She a
oh, like
house
oh,
girl?
she's your wife. Oh, that's your wife. They kind of don't put two and two together
Right.
sometimes, you know.
Because you just
Or
media. Yeah. You're just
a
like,
worker.
uh-huh.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like no way he can be. He jokes and says that, honey, it's because people think no way is she with him. So he's trying to say that like that I'm out of his league.
Yeah,
So
right.
people don't put two and two together. That's what
Mhm.
he says. So he's trying to be nice about it. But this is just a minor thing. But things like I notice, let's say it's Daniel and his two girls, very, you know, typical blonde hair, teenager, preteen girls. And then here's like me and Ashley. We go to a restaurant and then they're in front. Here's a tip, by the way. Here's like a little kind of like a public service announcement. If you're a host or a hostess at a restaurant, just ask how many is in your party instead of saying, because they'll be like,
3?
yep,
Table
3.
for 3?
And then he'll be like, no, 5.
Right.
He'll be like, my wife and my other daughter, or whatever he'll say.
Mhm.
Be like, no, 5. Oh, okay. They just don't think that we're dining together or that we're
Right.
together. Or even if we're not like necessarily a family, what if we're just like a bunch of friends meeting up and, you know, whatever, going out.
Yeah. How many is in your party?
Yes. So we get that often if we go out to eat as a family like that.
Mm-hmm.
I've told you a couple times where with going on trips and say it's like a big family trip and Daniel's in the trip, they'll think that he's not a part of the group
Yeah.
and they'll be like, oh no, step aside, sir. He's like, no, I'm with them. You know?
That's my family.
Right. So there's like things like that. But like my family, when we were just dating, would say stuff. Like be like, oh, okay, kind of like, it's nice to date, but are you serious? Are you gonna be
Really?
Well, yeah, because they just feel that it's probably not as easy. Maybe it's like more difficult because of certain challenges with someone from a different culture
Mm-hmm.
or race or
Mhm.
background. Insert whatever you want in here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not necessarily like challenging or difficult. There's just some things that you kind of have to deal with.
Mm.
If he was Vietnamese, there's some things that would be easier. Yes, he would know the language.
Mm-hmm.
He would understand some of the things that our culture does, traditions, or
Right.
just maybe like understand the reasons why we do certain things. It's a little bit more work because you kind of have to like maybe take the time to explain it.
Right.
Because with you, if you're dating like say a white guy, it's not necessarily a different culture, is it? I mean, unless is like Jamaican like really, do you know what I mean? Like close to you, like do you do a lot of like different traditions or customs like that, or
No,
Not
because I'm
really.
British.
well, but you said
Yeah.
that your roots and stuff.
My
and
roots are
mom-
Jamaican, but I was born in England, so
Right.
like, yeah. And England is pretty much like America, so
Right.
except they sound a little different.
Right.
The weather's a lot colder than where we are now. Over there, everywhere over there, as opposed to just Florida here is don't get snow and stuff, you know, like, but the weather sucks over there just the same as it does here.
Is there anything with like where differences in culture, where you've had a clash with someone that you've dated because
No. Like I say, I've only ever dated British people or American people, so no. Culture-wise, things are pretty much the same.
okay.
Yeah. Nothing out of my realm. Yeah.
Has your
Like
parents or your mumsy ever say anything about you dating somebody who is not like either British or someone who's not black? She doesn't care.
No. I mean, she can't care because absolutely every single one of her kids are with someone who's of a different race.
Right.
Every last one of us. Yeah.
Do they
Like
get any like comments or rudeness from either like their kids growing up in school or something like that? Like Steven.
Sammy and his girls and that?
Yeah.
No, not at all. No, not
Okay,
not
good.
that I've heard anyway. But
Right.
I mean, I'm tame, so compared to my siblings, well, maybe not our Bobby. Our Bobby's kind of tame, but I would say my sister Ethne is a real psycho. Sorry, sis, but you are. And then Sammy, not so much of that temper anymore, but it's still in him, you know, like, and his kids are his kids, and anybody messes with any of them,
Right.
oh, yeah, we'll be tied them.
I just don't know
Our
if
Ethne first, like,
Yeah.
she's a nut job.
like they haven't like faced any like I said like any like mean or rude comments and stuff.
I don't think it was because of the interracial dating. I don't think that's why the comments were made, but one of my nephew's girlfriend's parents said something to him
Mm.
in front of my sister,
And then what?
and then my sister got escorted out of the house by her son and his son's girlfriend so that his girlfriend's father could walk another day.
Nice.
So yeah, she were about to light him up. But Rubes got it out of there, and
Right. But see, I think that maybe the fact that maybe people don't say a lot of things or make comments, maybe because in places like England, it's more common, the interracial couples and families.
yeah.
That's what I mean. See, so maybe because it's more common or familiar, then there's no comments to be made.
Right.
Not that it's ever
Yeah, it's everywhere you go, pretty much. So yeah,
right.
a lot. Yeah, it's a lot more prevalent in the UK.
I'll go somewhere with like the girls because like I'll go shopping and try to, spend time with them or just whatever, spend quality time and get to know them and just make it like a little adventure. And they would come to me into maybe like an Asian market or anywhere, a grocery store. and they'll be following me, or someone might talk to them, say like, oh, you have beautiful hair and this and that. And then I walk up to go check out. Oh, is that your mom? Like, like they'll say stuff like that, and they'll be like, no, that's my Miss Thuy or whatever, because I'm not their mom,
Right.
or whatever, or for maybe like ease of conversation, depending, they might be like, yeah, just to like, so they can like stop talking to them or something,
Right.
But we'll have like, like little kind of like, I don't know if they're really actually like curious, or if they're just like trying to be nice and friendly, like, oh, is that your mom? Type of thing.
What's it got to do with you? What business is it of yours?
Daniel will joke and say, yeah, he's half Asian. He's Caucasian. That's his go-to joke.
Daniel's got
like,
so many one-liners.
Yeah. So we'll have like instances like that, but it's nothing like really like ever mean. If anything, the meanest is my family.
Yeah.
They're the ones that say stuff.
It felt a little strange, more so when I was in Pennsylvania, like up in Philly. And when I got married up in Philly, and we'd go out. There's a lot of black people in Philadelphia.
Okay.
So I would get looks and stares a lot more in Philadelphia than here in Florida. That's for sure.
Have you had people ask you like, what's wrong with dating a black guy? Why are you with a white guy?
Yeah,
What
I
do you
have.
Yeah. What the heck, right?
Uh-huh.
Isn't that
I'll
weird that
say-
people care?
I know. They don't really care. I mean, why? What business is it of yours who I'm dating?
Right.
I mean, I don't know you from Adam,
Right.
This person's just walked up and said that, like, he's trying to steal you from us. I'm like, who are you? He's not stealing me from anywhere. And I went willingly. Who the hell are you?
What did you say?
I'm like, what are you talking about? And then they'd walk off, not saying much else. But I obviously know what they're talking about.
Right.
And my ex-husband was also free with his mouth. So, like, people said out he would say something, definitely.
What would he say? Leave her alone, or?
No, he was very good with his words, so he'd like throw people into a tiz with his literature, like the way he spoke to people, the way he talks, what comes out of his mouth. It's like I don't know, it's like the president's writer, like they'll write a long speech, long-winded, long-worded, and people don't understand. By the time he gets to end of it, they're like, you know what, I'm done with this guy. Let me go. I'm sorry I said anything. Let's go. That's
Okay.
it. But
Right.
could talk you to death. Sorry, Joe, but you did.
So what about the first time one of your siblings dated somebody out of their race? Did Mumsy chime in, or she just was like,
At home in England, yeah.
as long as you're happy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, growing up in England anyway, we're predominantly white people there, so unless you were going to date your family, there were no one to date. Like, there were maybe 6 families around us that were black, around our family.
Well,
So
there you go. There's your dating pool.
yeah, it was very small. And also, they were all my brother's buddies, like my brother's friends.
That happens, though.
Yeah.
That happens where, and then they fall for like the little sister
No,
because they're
that's
always
like-
around. And no, not you, but other families. Not you.
And my friends that were all into my brother too. I'm like, no, stop it. Stop it.
Why? Then your friend could be around all the time. Could be your
No.
sister-in-law.
No.
Nice.
That's weird.
Nice. You know what? Because you were saying that, I grew up in suburban America. It was Springfield, Massachusetts. I was born in Massachusetts, right? And
Yeah.
I've had stories of this in the past, growing up there, being Asian and all that.
Mm-hmm.
There's some, like some prejudices and stuff, some racism, just assuming I'm Chinese, coming up saying ching, chang, chong, whatever, right? It wasn't until I went to this one grade school, elementary school, from like first grade all the way through 8th. And it wasn't until I was in 7th grade that another Vietnamese family was in this area. And there might have been other Vietnamese families, but this was a private school. It's a Catholic school. And so they had a boy who attended, and there's only 2 7th grade classes, right? I was in Mrs. Dufresne's and the other guy was in Miss Martin's. And everyone just assumed, oh, there's another like Asian kid, so they're automatically going to start liking each other. Like, oh, he's your new boyfriend, or first of all, I'm 12, so I don't even care about boyfriends and whatever and like kissy and whatever. But it was just like the assumption that, oh, 2 Asian people, bing, let's put them together. It was just funny. And then the same thing happened in high school, where again, small high school, St. Pete, Florida. It was a private high school, and maybe like junior or senior year, there was an Asian dude who started attending. He came like maybe in the middle of senior year, so he didn't start with all of us. And I'd been at this school for maybe like 3 years, and had friends and stuff. And of course they're like, oh, you can go to prom together, and you can. I'm like, why would I go with him? Just because we're both Vietnamese? It's so stupid.
Right.
It's like the guy could be a total jerk. Why do I, just because we're Vietnamese, we have to be like paired up? It was just funny. Like, forget about compatibility or even likes and dislikes, or if we even find each other attractive.
Right.
It was so silly, but yeah. small town USA. But anyways, I don't have to worry about the whole dating thing now because I'm married.
Right.
So we just have to worry about the looks that people give us. And we like to play games all the time.
There's a lot of celebrities that are in interracial couples, right?
A lot, yeah. I can name some.
A lot more.
Can you name some off the bat?
Let's see. No.
I know Robert De Niro. He likes dating black women.
I know. He likes his.
You're like, I
I
know.
Bobby D. Yeah.
Oh, is that how you know him?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I've met Bobby D.
What?
Yeah.
When?
In my dreams.
For real?
Yeah.
I didn't know if you met him maybe when you were living in Philly or something like that.
No, I've never met Bobby D.
A lot of the younger celebs, are obviously interracial dating. That's like the trendy cool thing. But David Bowie, he always dated.
Iman.
Yes.
Iman.
Serena Williams.
Is her man white?
He's dating somebody white.
She is?
Yeah.
I didn't know that she's dating or married. Didn't she get married to him?
Maybe they're married.
I think she got married and they've got a couple of kids now, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan. He's dating a white chick. Tina Turner. She's with the white guy.
Tina?
Yeah. Oh, and then even Ryan Gosling from The Notebook. He's dating Eva Mendes. They're not married, but they have kids together. But just, there's a lot of celebrity
Kelly Ripa.
couples.
Mark Consuelos.
It might not necessarily mean that they're married, but they're dating. There's a lot of dating.
Yeah.
What I was going to say was sometimes Daniel and I, we like to play games just to mess with people because they don't automatically maybe think that we're together. So if we're at a grocery store and we part because he has to go in one direction and get potatoes, then I got to go over here, right? And then later on when we catch each other, I'll be like, hey, how's it going? And he'd be like, excuse me, ma'am, do you want to go out on a date? And then he kind of dips me and then kisses me. And then I'm like, sure. People look at us like, what? What just happened? He pretends as if we don't know each other. And it's silly, but we do stupid stuff like that all the time.
That's funny.
Or he's getting in line to pay and I just come up and grope him. He's like, excuse me, ma'am. He acts as if he doesn't know me. So we do stuff just mess with people.
Yeah.
So that's always fun. If anything, if there's a reason to get married interracially, it'd be to play pranks like that. I mean, I guess you could do it even if you're not interracial, but it's just more fun because I guess people aren't maybe expecting it.
And I suppose you can just do it anyway, whether you're married to them or not. Just go up to someone and do the same thing, right?
I guess so.
And just see what happens.
Do you have a message or anything like that for our viewers?
The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. That's all I know.
Where did you just get that from?
That's been around forever.
I've never heard of it.
And it goes along with once you go black, you never go back. I mean, these are just things I heard.
Daniel hasn't said this, but I know other guys who've said this, but they'll say white is right.
Yeah. That's what they say.
You're racist.
Why? I'm just saying that's what they say. But I mean, I know I'm racist, but that's what they say.
Because
I've heard
you
that
only
before.
because you only date white guys.
No, that's not the reason.
You only date white guys, right?
No, I don't only date white guys.
Who
I've
else?
only dated white guys. I've only dated white guys. I did date. Well, I didn't date. I went on a trip. I went to St. Kitts and Nevis and got together with some guy that were there who was not white.
What was he?
He was black from
Oh.
St. Kitts.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Just made out with him. That's all. Yeah.
And on that note,
Tell everybody where they can find us, Thuy.
well, no, I was going to say if they want to chime in on stuff, maybe their own experiences in life or what they thought of our little silly stories and whatnot.
On what they think of interracial dating.
Mm-hmm. The numbers are only climbing.
Yeah, they are. We're up to 10% now. Well,
my
2015. I'm saying right now, probably 2025, I'm saying the percentage is probably, did I say 20%?
You
It's
said
probably
that.
going to be, maybe 18 to 23% now.
Look it up and then email Edith, please.
Yeah.
She would love
Let me
to
know.
hear from
I
you.
really would like to hear from you.
Yeah.
See what you got to say.
You could find us, viewers, on any major listening platforms such as YouTube, Spotify, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, anywhere where you listen to your favorite podcasts.
That's correct. Well done, Thuy. We're so proud of her.
Thanks. Thank you so much for watching Tea Time. I'm Thuy.
And I'm Edith.
See you next time.
Bye. All right. If you had fun listening today, please make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.